Hola, Animigos, and welcome to Keyframers, the animated collaborative coding live stream where we bring imaginative user interfaces to life. I'm your host, Stephen Shaw, but you may know me as @Shashaw.
And I'm your host, David Khourshid, also known as @DavidKPiano.
Together we are coding compadres, animation amigos, Boolean buddies, and keyframe companions.
Yeah, we'll be creating an animation from scratch live using HTML, CSS, and React, which is almost like JavaScript.
Almost. It's very close to it. We're doing a React animation today, so stay tuned. You'll definitely want to check this out. This show is made possible by your support. You can pledge at patreon.com/keyframers, become one of our animigos, and receive one of these cool gold pins. And there's also additional links available below for how you can help us out.
Yes, you will receive money. We will give you unless you want to use those pins as currency. I mean, we don't care what you do with them. We're also happy to answer any questions you may have. So reach out in the chat or the comments because we will talk to you all about React. That's what we do.
That is what we do. Yes. So if you're watching this later on YouTube and are short on time, don't want to watch us make mistakes along the way, you can skip ahead to the animation summary using the timestamp link for Keyflections in the description below. If you're watching us live, though, thanks for coming along for the journey. It's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, and thanks, Nexi, for subscribing for 5 months in a row. That's awesome.
Dang. Awesome.
Yeah, we've had a lot of good conversations with Nexi, so.
Yes, greatly appreciate that.
Really
if you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe to our Twitch channel using a free Twitch Prime subscription that supports us, and it's built into your Amazon Prime account, so there's no reason not to use it on us.
Yeah.
Let's check out today's animation.
If you're using a Disney Plus, we're still in talks with them, so
yeah, the Marvel
I have to wait on that.
the Marvel Cinematic Universe licensing hasn't come through just yet.
No. We're not an Avenger yet, but we're trying to make it a thing.
Yes, one of these days. Today's animation is Upload by Michael Frege. It's a nice little animation. For some reason, it's coming through very tiny. There we go. Enlarged it.
It was just released, what, a day ago, 2 days ago?
Yeah, it's pretty recent. Dribble's saying it has 0 views, even though at least you and I have viewed it. So.
We're the first, and yeah, we're all about this. So the interesting thing about this is that we have done animations like this in the past using just normal HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, but more often this is sort of representative of what you might see in a dynamic user interface where you would want to use a single-page application framework such as Vue, React, Angular, Svelte, whatever else there is. And so this is just sort of a custom component that you might see.
Yeah, drag and drop file uploader. We're not going to handle any of the actual file uploading or necessarily the drag and drop portion, but we're gonna talk through how to handle this, because if you look at it, there's 4 distinct states shown. There's this idle state where it says drag and upload. Then there's like a hover state when you're actually dragging. Let me switch over to GIF Scrubber so we can peek at each of these. So here's the drag state where it expands a little bit and the icon turns blue, and then from there, once you drop the files on there, it goes into an uploading state where we've got a progress bar, and then the success state where it says done and gives a little check mark, and then back to the idle state.
And there's a whole lot of choreography happening here too, which makes this a perfect candidate to see how we could animate this together. Typically when you see this done in React animations or stuff, it doesn't really give you the utilities to really choreograph the in-between, the transitions between the states. So what you end up seeing is just it jumping. You have what's called a jump state, where it jumps from one state to the other, and then that's it.
It's much like a jump scare in horror movies. It's very scary for the user because it just pops into place with no context.
Right. Yeah. So yeah.
So we're actually going to be using a state machine for this. If you're unfamiliar with state machines, just follow at David K. Piano on Twitter. You'll very quickly become familiar with them due to the sheer volume of tweets that he does based on them. But we talk about state machines a lot, and this will be kind of a good primer for how to use those with React. David has a tweet from a few months, or well, I guess a year ago, when React hooks were first coming on the scene, talking about useReducer to be kind of the driver of a state machine in React. So we're gonna dive into that method a little bit here and show you. So shall we start coding?
Yeah, let's do it.
And that's at David K. Piano on Twitter for state machines.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you notice over here in the code, we have no libraries. We are just just grabbing this next state off of an object, and that's pretty much all we need to do.
Right. The only thing we're including here so far is React and React DOM. And we went in last episode. We went into just the basic setup for React stuff. So we're not going to cover that too much. But what we're doing here for our state machine. So I've got an object of states, and this is just so we can reference those in a consistent manner throughout the app and not rely on like a specific string. And same with the events that can happen throughout. And then I've defined a machine here, just called uploader machine. We've got our initial state. This is where the application is going to start. It's going to start on the idle state. And then we have each of the states defined in a states object, where we start with our idle state, and then this on property is kind of an event trigger. So throughout the application, we're going to trigger a transition into the next state of the state machine, and we do this very explicitly. We want the states to be the events to be defined on each specific state, so that you don't end up with a weird scenario where you jump straight from an idle state to a success state. That shouldn't happen. There have to be these intermediate steps. So the first step along that along our state machine is the idle state, and then whenever the mouse enters, it switches over to state hovering. With state hovering, from there, it can go back to the idle state if the mouse leaves. And this is just silly. It should technically be like a drag event or something like that. But I did want to set this up in the actual machine versus doing it just with CSS, like a CSS hover state, because it should have additional implications to it. And then if we click, it'll go into the uploading state. From the uploading state, once it's been uploaded, it'll go to the success state, and then the success state, it'll just reset back to idle on click, or we could set a timer or something like that to reset it.
Mm-hmm. So what we could do is we could actually just flesh out each of the states, because in the GIF we have like these different, we have it saying drag and upload and uploading and then done. So, and of course that hover state as well.
Yes, and so we're using useReducer to transition between all of these. Let's see, instead of, okay, you did change that to dispatch, because that's the, if you're familiar with Redux, bless you by the way, this is a very kind of Reduxy setup, where you've got a dispatch and you're triggering events for that. But yeah, for useReducer, we're passing in this reducer function that basically checks if that state exists and if that state has a particular event. Otherwise, it just returns the same state, so that it shouldn't ever transition to a state that doesn't exist, or jump from one state to another state.
Yeah.
Cool.
Here I have it like just, if state is states.idle, then just show this upload thing. And so that's going to be the easiest thing to do. or if it's idle, or if it's hover, right? So states, well,
yeah. Yeah, for that, we might need to change the way that messaging is set up because, paging through. So, there's the drag and upload message, and then it transitions into uploading. So those might need to stay in the DOM.
Right. Oh, okay. So in that case, we might want to, our data state technique that we've been doing a lot, we could actually still use that in there, but now we could be a little bit more dynamic about it since we're in React land.
Right. Before we get too deeply into it, let me just cover the rest of what's happening. We've got an app that's just attaching this to the DOM with our file uploader component rendering in there. You'll see this cloud icon component. I just did that to move the SVG off to its own little setup, and we'll kind of pass some state through to there for animation later on. It's just a simple SVG icon, and I've got the arrow and check mark in there that we'll reveal later. All right, and then on the file uploader itself, I've got the dispatch attached to each of these different events. So mouse enter, mouse leave, and click pass through to our state machine.
Yeah,
so cool. All right, yeah, nice little progress bar there. So one thing I was toying with, going back to the idea of showing and hiding content based on the state. So one thing I was trying to do here was utilizing the hidden attribute. Are you familiar with that, David?
Yes. Maybe.
So hidden can be added to any HTML element. It's a part of HTML5, I believe. It's just an attribute that when it's added in there, it hides the content. It kind of does that with display none, so that historically is causes some issues with animating that. So I'm trying to see if there is a way that we can animate that in and out. It becomes very difficult to debug. Like if we inspect here, actually let me switch over to the debug view, refresh. So if we inspect in here, we can see file uploader, there's our icon, there's the text, and then here's our progress. So it has the hidden attribute, and I'm overriding that with display block. And so if I uncheck these, yeah, so it does show up. And then if I click over, hidden disappears, but it doesn't seem to fade in, does it? I lost your audio, David.
Oh,
there.
Yeah. So anyway, something we could do since it's using display none is we could do a transition on display none, but have it either flip at 50 or have a step animation where it's basically display visible for an entire duration, or display block for an entire duration, and then display none at the end. I think we have to experiment with that.
Yeah. So that it is in there, like the display block portion, but maybe it's let me see.
Well, so will hidden actually
Data hidden equals yeah, so that should equals true or false. So data hidden equals true. Let's see. Yeah, see that? For some reason, that is not triggering properly. So let's say visibility hidden, opacity 0. Yeah, I don't know why that's... Oh, okay. I know what it is. We're, data hidden equals false. We need to set the transition delay to 0.
By the way,
oh, hey. That's cool.
Something you could do here too is you could just have this be data hidden, and then otherwise, just, well, yeah. So we could just have a transition to, or like have it not or dead.
No, so it does need to be true or false here, and we're setting that in this property here. I would love to use the actual hidden attribute, but it's kind of difficult without being too like aggressive about it. Like we'd have to do not hidden to change the transition delay.
A little bit weird, yeah.
Right, and that could bite us in the butt later on. So let's try this. Let me see. That still just doesn't seem to be transitioning in properly. Data hidden equals false. Let's make it explicit. Visibility visible. Because we've got the delay here. We've got that transition time. I don't know. It fades out perfectly fine, but it just seems to be popping in instead. Let me hide this real quick just to see. Yeah, that's
all right. So you want to basically.
Yeah, I want us to be able to transition it in. So I'm not sure. Not sure what's happening. Let's see, data hidden. Let's see. Go true, false. Let's just make sure that.
Make sure your logic is working. Yeah, no, it's still not doing that. So, think about another way that this could happen. What we could do is we could use actual keyframes, like an animation.
Yeah.
To enter that in, and that might be the normal way of doing it, or the idiomatic way. At least in CSS animation land.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
Should we try that?
Sure.
Okay.
So, all right, we'll keep data hidden in there because we do need to.
All right, so we could have like keyframes fade in from 0 to opacity 1, and so now it'll fade in, so that's good.
Yeah.
But hovering does well. Oh, that's because I had that. That's my bad. So I had that states idle, but I also wanted to be. I want to show upload for idle and hover. So we have idle and hovering. So what we could do is we could say states idle. States.hovering.includes state. Yeah. There we go. See?
Nice.
Perfect.
What if we instead and now it fades in and out. And we can animate that in other ways as well. In theory. And we can also include the other portion. Let's see. Oh, let me go back to the GIF. So uploading. So this will be state dot, what is it, uploading?
Yes. And so we have the data states on the file uploader, which we could play with. Okay, data state equals states hovering. So that's just going to be hovering. Cool.
Yeah. I started doing some data state stuff down below.
Well, I did up above.
What are you adding here?
So now when we're hovering, you see how it gets bigger?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So the technique David is doing here is moving the background to a pseudo element, so that it doesn't affect the rest of the element when we scale. We just want to scale up that background like the animation does.
Right.
And yeah, that's great.
We'll probably need some of your CSS grid magic to make them all stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what's happening right now. I was gonna do some message states here. So message. Let's see. Not sure what's happening there. Let me see.
Where were you working in?
So the message, going back to the animation, whenever you transition from the hovering state to the uploading state, the text kind of drops out and drops in. So I was just trying to do that real quick. Transition.
Oh, that's a fun little animation.
Translate Y 100%, and we'll do overflow hidden here. Oh, this needs to be data hidden equals true. That's the issue there. Okay. Yeah, it kind of works.
Yeah, sort of. We just have to, each one of these probably needs to be in a span. So just because we're going to use that and probably overflow hidden on the strong so that we could have that cutoff effect.
Well, I've got the cutoff happening on message.
But the problem with that is, take a look at the first animation, the drag and upload attached files to your project. They both disappear within their own sort of things. So,
hey, thanks for the kind messages in chat. We're planning to keep it up. So, yeah, I see what you mean with like the attach files to your project bit, or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we can do without that for now. Just to
all right, fine.
It is. Yeah, I want to keep it short. Well, because we've got our work cut out for us with the SVG stuff in a moment. So yeah, let's. All right, so upload and uploading. Yeah,
let's see.
Okay, cool. I'm going to add the click state to transition to uploading directly on idle as well for now.
Okay.
Cool. All right. So yeah. All right, so we've got our message transition kind of working. Let's make those strongs display block, and then that text line at the center should work a little better.
Yeah. So we could call this strong data hidden, and we could make it class name equals message uploading. I'm just giving the uploading a message uploading class just so that we could make that, slide up.
Yeah. So this is why that data hidden thing I wanted to get working without the animation. Like that should be just able to be triggered by targeting that data hidden.
Yeah.
So data hidden equals true. So it's position absolute. Let's see. Yeah, and in case you didn't notice, in the top left corner here, I have the active state shown just with the little pseudo element so that we can keep track of where we are while we're debugging.
So it's data hidden equals true. We have and data hidden equals false. So we could say when it's hidden, transform, translate y 100%. Otherwise, it's not. So it should come from the bottom. But I see what you mean. So it's not coming in from the bottom. But maybe that's because I don't have a transition. So transform.
Well, because it has data hidden on it, it should already have that transition.
No, it works. It works. Check it out. So you see how they both come in at the same time?
Yeah.
Nice. Sort of.
Yeah, it's still not exactly. Gosh.
Yeah, it works though.
Okay, hold on. Just give me a couple minutes to try and debug this.
Okay.
Okay, I think I got it.
I believe you.
All right. Does that seem like it's working now?
Sure. Well, what'd you change?
So I adjusted it so that the visibility transition has a longer duration than 0 seconds by changing it to 0.01 seconds.
Interesting. Okay.
I haven't had to do that before, but for some reason that seems to be.
I've had to do stuff like that before. It's weird.
Yeah.
But
there we go.
Success, it's called. Okay. Cool. Done.
Nice. So data hidden. Visible.
We probably don't need to make these each specific, but hey, it works in a way. However, they're sort of overlapping each other, and I don't know if that's. Oh wait, it is actually what happens. Yeah. So.
Oh, okay. You kept breaking. Yeah, you're breaking my stuff. Hold on.
Okay. It works though.
Does it? Does it?
It really does.
Visibility. Just make sure I'm not typoing anything. Transition. Because it is working on fade out. It's just not working on enter, which is extremely weird.
What are you trying to make happen?
Just the standard visibility toggle that we do. Okay, so maybe it's because I'm doing all. Maybe if I change that to opacity and that to transform. Let's try that. No. Sorry. This works every other time, so I'm not sure what's different here.
Right. So, all right. So, data hidden true. It should be in some sort of thing. So you're just the whole opacity thing is not working out for you.
Well, I don't know. It's something is it's just off. Something is off.
Right. I mean, well, what if you don't worry about the visibility? Like you don't do this whole visibility, hidden visibility visible. No, so it still has the same issue.
Yeah, so maybe it's a React thing. Hold on, let me. Oh,
you know what? It might be. Like it might be like a whole brand new element, and so it's not the same reference. Although that really shouldn't.
It really should not be, but.
All right, try that now.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why I say having an animation that's going to work. It's going to work pretty fine. I know you don't want to.
Well,
but we had to figure out this visible thing too. It's something's happening.
Yeah, this is very strange. Shout out in the chat if you have any theories on what's happening there. So let's remove the position absolute as well, just for a moment. Yeah, because that transition is not triggering. So file uploader, data hidden true, outline solid, 2 pixels red. Make sure that our targeting is working properly. And then data hidden equals false, set to blue. Yeah, it's just not even transitioning. Let me ease. Maybe it's my easing. Nope. That is strange. That is strange.
It is.
All right. Well, yeah, we can't spend forever on that. So
right.
any
instead of trying to do opacity, try doing a transform. Like have it transform 100% down. Transform by 0 and then 100% or something, and see if it actually moves there. Because no, it's not doing anything.
Yeah,
very weird.
Let me just make sure there's no like conflicting styles happening somewhere. No. Data hidden equals false. Go over to debug view and kind of inspect a little closer. So we've got data hidden equals false. Oh.
What'd you do? Was it my fault?
No. Data hidden, if it has that attribute, it needs the transition, regardless of if it is true or false. So there we go. Visibility.
Nice.
0 seconds. Linear, 0.4 seconds. All right, so now that toggle should work properly. Yes, and we can remove the transform for now because we don't need to worry about that. We can remove those outlines, and good gravy. That, sorry for that delay.
You're good.
Okay. Yes, nice. Okay, now we can add that position absolute back in there. And that should... oh, there we go. Okay. That's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. Yes, that visibility hidden trick is very handy. And now it's actually working because we've applied our styles correctly. So cool. All right, so one thing I have happening is when we enter the uploading state, I have a use effect hook that just does a set timeout to transition to the success state. So
okay.
Yeah. Whoa, 4,000. No, I just want 2,000. There we go. Cool. Okay. All right, let me move this stuff down here. And then for here, we'll do message transform translate y on m, and cloud icon transform translate y to 1m. Wait, what is our class name? Cloud icon. There we go. Okay, those just need some transition on them as well. Transform. 4 seconds. What are you working on?
Nothing. Oh, a progress bar that's supposed to work, but it's not. Oh, wait. Set interval duration. Divided by 100. Interesting. Return the value. Value at the current equals value. Aha.
All right, so now the cloud icon and the message translate off when it's on the hover state, just like the animation. I don't know why the cloud icon is not centered. Let me double check on that. Guess it's the grid setup.
Well.
There we go. Got that centered. All right, so what have you been messing with here?
Nothing too much. Just an animated sidebar type of thing, but it's not really working, so don't worry about that.
Okay.
What I would like to see is that cloud, though.
Okay. Yeah. So let's.
While I tackle this progress thing.
Yeah. Let's pass along our state to the cloud. So yes, this is the cloud you've been hearing all about. So our cloud icon, we're going to pass in the state. So yeah, we'll do that down here. So we got the state coming in to cloud icon, and then we'll do that same data hidden bit. So let's copy that data hidden. All right, so for our check mark, let's only show that on the success state. So there we go, that's working. And then our arrow, we only want on hover and uploading. Okay, so states dot uploading and states dot hovering. There we go. And then this, let's see. States dot success. Okay. Data hidden. That's weird.
What's up?
Oh yeah, we do need that exclamation point. I wasn't inverting it. There I was inverting it. Okay. And then this is actually class name equals line. This is the line at the bottom of the cloud. And so we want that to disappear at the same time as the arrow appears. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Cool. All right, let's do in our data state here. So whenever whenever it's hovering, okay, there's actually a different color here. Let's see what that color is. I'm just using SIP app here to get that color. So we'll do data state equals hovering. We'll do cloud icon stroke var accent. Let's, yeah, there we go. Nice, that changes that. And I'll go back here, do all. Cool, that's working. Let me see here. So yeah, cool. That's revealing and stroke accent. Okay.
Let's see.
Cool.
While you're doing that, I'm just cleaning up some jumpiness. So no big changes, just yeah. That's what grid is good for, just cleaning up jumpiness.
Oh, are you establishing an actual grid?
Yep, in the file uploader, which is that a grid? It is a grid. It's just not doing anything gritty.
Yeah. There we go. Okay, cool, cool. Okay, so you're working on that. Got that going.
Did I do that wrong? I probably did that wrong. Oh. FR. Right? Yeah, probably. Nope. Oh, geez. Okay.
Let's see, actually, we can probably just set that here. Let's see, cloud icon. We generally want that stroke. It's just on data state idle that it's not. Data state equals idle. That will set the cloud icon stroke.
All right, so now let's see how it is in the JavaScript. All right, so we have the cloud, we have the message, and we have the progress. So those need to be aligned to the grid somehow. Which they are. Cool. Except, yeah, I could probably work on the alignment a little bit more. Does this have some gnarly padding or something? Yes, it does. Wow.
Gnarly padding?
Yeah, that is some gnarly padding. I think
Sure.
that's a 1M. Just for fun. There we go.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Wow, grid solves everything.
Does it?
No. It's the cause and solution of many problems. But it works.
Very nice. Yeah. Okay, that's looking good. We got most of the basics happening here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, we don't have much longer. Is there anything else from the animation you wanted to look at before we try and summarize all this?
Let's take a look. So we have, let's see, we have the cloud.
Yeah, so the icon animation on that could be a little bit better, but that's going to require some slight retooling of it.
Yeah. And so what's great about this is, for example, I want to tweak when the progress bar shows, but what I could do is I could have like a variable like constant show progress, and that's going to be if the state is uploading or if the state is what uploaded or state what would success. So states.success includes states, and then we could just replace like this whole thing with show progress and this whole thing with show progress, because in the original animation it's showing in both the uploading and the done state, which is useful. So let's see, we click that and it disappears.
Data hidden, not show progress. Yeah,
that's logical.
Right. We could probably invert this to data show, to not have to negate all of our selector statements, but
yeah,
yeah, that's cool. And instead of hiding the progress, can we activate it basically on a based on a prop that's passed in, so that it can fade out rather than disappearing?
What do you want to do?
So basically activate that timer if a prop changes. So like progress active equals show progress.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I'll try. I'm not sure with your setup here. So active and active and then that should work, but I broke something, I think. What is React complaining about? Active is not defined. Oh, sure. So let's extract here from props. See how that goes. Yeah, there we go. It just needs to reset. So we'll say if active, set interval, and then else set value 0, and that'll reset it at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Right? No, it is not resetting it. Do we need to clear interval? Yeah, it needs to.
Oh, I see what's happening there. Yeah. So this is where our effects cleanup comes in. So we clear that interval. And so we could keep a reference to the interval, well, actually as a closure. Yeah. So const interval ID equals, and then so clear interval ID. So that should work.
Yes.
Do it twice.
There you go.
So.
I was typing, everything just lagged. Okay, so in theory that will work.
Does not work. Oh, because
so do we just always
no, you know what you could do? We could let's see, we have this progress active equals show progress, because you basically want to go to 0, right?
Right.
Oh, okay. So this was the problem I was having before, and that's why I had a show progress here and that. So this only renders,
right,
when, and so that way now when you start again, it goes to 0.
Right, but it doesn't fade out anymore whenever you get success. So that's what I was trying to fix, but I think that's gonna dive too deep into Hook's junk. So for now, we can do that, and we'll take out that active stuff. Feel free to fork our pin after we release this and go to town. Clear interval, let's remove active there. There we go. Oh, does that need to be an array there? There we go. Cool. All right. Wait. Is it working? What's happening? It does not seem to be working. Can you check that out again?
Progress?
Yeah. Something
Well, you
I
keep
did.
deleting it.
I didn't delete that.
I got the solution right there. It's perfect. It works great. And I don't care if it fades out.
We'll have to watch the playback on that because I removed the active part. I didn't remove that part. All right. All right. So let me look at the icon portion real quick. So let's see, div, and for this we'll do class name equals cloud icon, and then what we're going to do is layer SVGs on top of each other because let's see, let's do this as a object const svg display props equals that, and we'll have to change that to an object syntax, but we'll do .svg display props. So what I'm doing here is instead of having one SVG with the SVG elements inside of them, in order to actually animate those properly in CSS, because of a lot of cross-browser and SVG issues, animating elements inside of an SVG causes issues. But if you animate an actual SVG element, everything is fine. Let's see, Shift. I can't do multi-cursor there, can I? Let's see. Nope, multi-cursor is not going to work there. Or will it? Let's see. Yeah, fancy. No, it's not. There we go. Okay. Fancy little feature in CodePen. Got some multi-cursor going on. All right, so SVG display props going in like that. So now we can do multiple SVGs. And we can cloud, move this to here, this to here. And this is going to break for a moment. But we'll get it in place. SVG. Oops. SVG display props. Get that in there. Yeah. Are you working on anything at the moment?
Nope, just waiting for it to unbreak.
Sorry. G. And now it should be unbroken. What is it complaining about? Unexpected token. Oh, gotta add
those tokens.
Yep. Design tokens. All right, so there we go. All right, so we basically have each element of the SVG wrapped in its own SVG. So we're going to layer those on top of each other. So cloud icon, let's do SVG position absolute. Actually, we can do display grid. And do our grid layering, grid template 1, and then SVG grid area 1. And that should, yeah, that gets all of our elements layered on top of each other with just a few lines of CSS. So each of these SVGs is rendered directly on top of each other. And now we can apply some transforms Yes, check that out. And so we can do line data hidden equals true. We can do transform scale x0. And we can keep that opacity 1. And what that should do is make the line kind of disappear there. Yeah. And then what we can do on specific states, so like down here, data hovering, data uploading. So let's do a data state equals success. And then we'll say dot arrow, we'll want to transform rotate to turn, probably just 1 turn. And then we'll do a similar thing. Let's see, we don't even need it there. Well, we might. Let's see. State success. Yeah, that didn't do it. Just make sure that we're targeting that fully. Yeah, nice. And what we can do up here in uploading is, well, actually, for just the check mark. So remove that. Where are those styles? Cloud icon. Oh, there we are. So for check, is it check or check mark? Okay, just check data hidden true. We can do transform scale 0.8, rotate -1 turn. And now that check to, or that arrow to check. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, cool.
And we can move this.
The grid's a little weird though.
The grid's a little weird? What do you mean?
Oh wait, yeah. I don't know if it's just on my end, but the progress bar is sort of like just at the bottom there. Just
refresh, because it's
okay.
That's how it's been looking for me.
Really?
Let's see. Yeah.
Interesting. Wonder why.
True.
That is too weird. Because oh, there's a big margin on the cloud icon.
Oh, yeah, that's just a margin auto that can be removed.
And I have that margin off. Let's make that 1M. Okay, so, well, I guess I could use grid gap or whatever. That works. And now they're not in the middle of each other, which, I mean, that can be fixed.
Here we go.
Aha.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right. Yeah, I think we've got this in a good state. We can try and summarize here
Let's
a bit.
do it.
All right. So we're about to enter Keyflections. This is the part of the show where we give a quick review of the techniques used to build this animation. If you have any questions, now's a great time to ask us in the chat or leave a comment, and we'll be happy to answer.
Yeah. Hey, if you've enjoyed watching us so far, you could follow and subscribe here on Twitch or YouTube, or pledge at patreon.com/keyframers. The links are right below.
Get one of these gold pins. You
Yes.
want it. You need it. Yes. So today's animation is Upload by Michael Frege, inspired by the animation he's got here. Simple kind of drag and drop uploader that we broke down into 4 states. You've got the idle state right here. You've got a hover state whenever the mouse is over, and then uploading state, and then a success state. So we used David K. Piano's advice from Twitter to build a state machine with React Hook's useReducer.
Always a good idea.
Yes. So explain that state machine a little bit for us, David.
All right, so we have a state machine with a few states over here, either idle, hovering, uploading, or success. And when you're working in design tools like InVision or Principle or Figma or whatever, you're going to end up splitting your designs into these certain states too. And so that's what we have over here. Then we have certain events that could happen either by the user or by something else like a success or a reset or something that changes those states. And how do those states change? Well, that's what the uploader machine will tell you. We have states over here, and we have on properties that say when we're in the state and some event happens, like a click, this is the next state that we're going to be in. Then we have a simple reducer that just determines what that next state is going to be, or if that state, if that event is not handled in that state, then we just return the normal state that we're in already. And that's it.
Yes, and all of this should actually translate over to the XState visualizer.
It should.
Let me.
I'll go ahead and do that.
I think I've got it.
Do you have it?
Yeah, uploader
Nice.
machine.
You just have to wrap that object in machine function.
Right. Okay. Yes, I've got that. So let me drag that over here. And we can share this as well. So XState is a state machine library, and there's a visualizer that David put a lot of effort into here that showcases all the logic. So we've got idle, mouse enter goes to hovering. So we click that, transition there. If we go mouse leave, it goes back to idle. If we click, it goes to uploading, and then undefined. I don't know what happened there, but goes to success, and then success, if you click or reset, it goes back to idle. So yeah, so that's the basic principle of the state machine, and we're using useReducer to actually make that happen within the file uploader component. So we pass in our reducer function that handles that transition, and we pass in the initial state that we define in the machine as well. And so we've that gives us the current state of the application in the state variable, and then dispatch allows us to trigger the next event. So for example, we've got a use effect here that when we're in the uploading state, we want a set timeout to transition us to the next state, because we're just faking the file upload portion of it. So whenever we enter that, set timeout, and then it dispatches the uploaded event and after the given number of milliseconds, and then gets us in that success state based on the state machine transition. Now, state machines, they seem verbose, they seem annoying to set up, and yes, they are.
Tell me how you really feel.
The thing is, all of this logic ends up getting in the application in some way. It's better to be explicit about it and set all that in an easy to read format that can actually be used across different libraries, that can you can generate a visualization of and understand the way that your component or your app is going to work. So that's what we're trying to do here is just make that explicit so you can see how each of the states happens and those transitions happen. And then we utilize that down in the actual component. See, we've got the on mouse enter, on mouse leave, on click to just dispatch those events. We don't have to worry about what state the app is in for those events to actually trigger. We can just tell it to always trigger that, and if that state doesn't have that event, then nothing happens, which is great. Mm-hmm. But we are passing down the current state of the application as a data state attribute that we've done before in our application. But this allows us to target the styles in specific ways. So one of the basic examples of that. So data state equals hovering. It switches to the grab cursor. That's just a super simple little touch that makes it nice. And on that hovering state, we're also transitioning the background to scale up there. That gives it that nice growing focused effect And instead of using an actual background on the element itself, we're doing a pseudo element there. We've done that quite a bit before, but it's just position absolute, fills up the entire element, and then we can transition that like with transform without scaling the rest of the interface. So yeah, that's one of the simple transitions based on this data state kind of setup. Let's see. You want to walk us through the message portion?
Yeah, sure. This is not too bad. Basically, we have two, I guess you could call them mini states or whatever. When it is hidden, actually, let me find the message thing. Yeah. So when it's hidden, we are putting it out of view. So we're translating Y 100%. And otherwise, we want it to just show into view. And so a transition takes care of that. And so that data hidden is being controlled based on what state we're in. And so that's one way that we could communicate from React land to CSS land.
Yes. So this data hidden attribute we've done before, and it's much easier to control now that we're in React rather than having to manually toggle all of this in JavaScript. And that's really just for the CSS to be able to fade that in and out or trigger those different animations on enter and leave. And then for message, in order to do that like dropout animation that happens there, we have overflow hidden on our message container, and then each of these little strong messages, whenever they are hidden, it translates down like David was saying. But they're also position absolute, so that they don't take up any space in that. So that's what we have there. And then let me cover the cloud icon, and then you can cover the progress bar real quick, and then we'll be done. So cloud icon is just this SVG cloud happening here, and I've got that set up as its own component so that this cloud SVG stuff doesn't have to junk up the main core of the component. We could separate out the message component into the message piece into its own component as well. There's a lot of different ways to break that up, but for now, the cloud icon, div class name cloud icon, and then within that there's actually 4 different SVGs, each kind of representing a portion of the state. So these are layered on top of each other so that they're all rendered together, because we can't animate easily within SVG, like SVG elements. So like trying to animate this path directly for the arrow or for the check mark, that's going to be a little too difficult to do properly with CSS. So if we animate an SVG element instead, the browser handles that a lot better. So for example, the arrow transition, whenever it's hidden, it scales down, so that animation scales in nicely, and the check mark is scaled down and rotated, so that gives it that spin out effect there. And also we animate the arrow on the success state to rotate as well. So when that is transitioning out with that data hidden attribute, it spins the opposite direction as the check mark, so you get that same kind of effect happening. And we can scale that down too, and that will probably help sell the effect even more. Yeah, perfect.
So yeah. Yep. The progress bar is just an interesting little use effect where, setting an interval, you have to use a ref here because otherwise you have a problem called a stale callback, where we're referencing a stale value, which is this value over here. And so that's why we're both mutating this value ref and we're setting the value over here so that the component re-renders. But yeah, we just divide the duration, which is half a second or 300 milliseconds, by 100, so we could smoothly transition that value. There's probably a better way to do this, like having an actual progress, but this is a good way of faking it. So
yeah, we could have done a CSS animation or something like that, but showing a nice way to update some values in React as well.
yes.
It's nice. So yeah, there's a lot to this. There's a lot of little pieces and a lot of different techniques happening. We're trying to break things down for you. So if the summary didn't do it for you, go back and watch the full video. We talk through things a lot better as we're coding. So check that out for sure. And yeah, if you have any questions, just leave a comment and we'll try to help out. Yeah, this turned out really nice. I like it.
Yeah.
Nice work, David.
You too.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all we've got for you today. You've been watching Keyframers. If you've enjoyed this episode and would like to see more from David and I, you can support us at patreon.com/keyframers. You can also like and subscribe at youtube.com/keyframers, where we have all of our past episodes. And you can subscribe here on Twitch and participate in the live streams every week.
Mm-hmm. And we do accept submissions for future episodes, so tweet at Keyframers with any animations or frameworks you would like to see. You can also present questions or challenges to us that we are going to try to answer on the air. And please be sure to share this video and demo across all of your social people platforms or robot platforms. I don't care.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, adios, amigos.
Adios.